Good evening, everybody. What a week it's been of Champions League football, and let's hope that Arsenal can get into the Champions League next season. Listen, before we start to talk about the Leeds game and all that, obviously, as you well know, everybody, that I do a little bit of work now for BetVictor. And listen, go over there, subscribe, like, do everything. Lovely channel, and up and growing, and very, very proud to be a part of it. But they was talking, funny enough, this week about will it be satisfied? Will Manchester City fans be satisfied with the Premier League? And they're bored. Well, they've got to now. They ain't got nothing else to go for. Check it out. Have a look. We'll come back and talk a little bit of that before we get into the nitty gritty of Arsenal versus Leeds.
The board won't be happy. I think that's the fans' perspective. I think the question mentioned the board as well. The board wouldn't be happy. Like, they will want it. I mean, if you remember beforehand when they were kind of gearing up for Pep Guardiola's arrival years before he even got there, like invested in the academy, doing all those things. They've spent that money to win a European Cup, like to bring themselves to the top table. And I think they've even got like the added competition up. They probably want to do it before PSG and vice versa and all those kind of things. So the pressure will be there from the board. But I don't think the fans at this moment in time will feel like that.
There you have it, people. Welcome back, Lee. That's a nice little podcast you do there. To be fair, I gotta say, and I must say, Man City last night, man. That was nuts last night, man. Nuts last night.
Yeah, it's a good little thing they're doing. It's growing. You've got some good people on there, and it is a good debate. So if you want to go over there, it's called Last Man Standing. I've won a couple of them, like. But I thought I'd put my little Man City hat on today in sympathy, like, and I hope Bernard Silva's had a nice sleep tonight, like, you know what I mean? Like, how ironic that he dives for the penalty against the mighty Arsenal, and they go out of the Champions League on a penalty, Oh, karma, it's very, very best. And I turned around and said after that game, I don't think Manchester City will win anything. And I'm going to say this now. A lot of people saying this on social media. Will Mikel Arteta win the Champions League before Pep has done it at City? You know what I mean? Like, come on. We can all live in dreamland, but you've got to be in it to win it. But unfortunately, Manchester City are out. Real Madrid, what a game. Come on, guys. Let's just talk about that. What a mad 5 minutes that was yesterday.
It was unbelievable. It was. And let me welcome Kaji on first, man. How you doing, bro? Thanks for coming on, dude.
Yeah, man, no problem. And it's as always, it's KG. But I understand. But yeah,
KG,
Yeah, you're not the only one. Someone else does the same thing as well. But yeah,
I normally call you KG, and someone else was like, "You call him KG? It's Kaji." I'm like, "What? No,
KG,
come on, man.
KG. A bit like that old Leeds team. Very KG.
Oh, man,
that's a bit harsh. That's a bit harsh.
We're not even 5 minutes in, Lee, man. You just hit me already. So.
Yeah, you know it, man. Apologies, man. I always call you KG normally, but it was Lee Gunner, I think, who told me. That's KG.
He's the one that says it wrong. Don't listen to that guy.
No, don't listen to Lee Gunner, man. Should have known. Anyway, welcome to the show, bro. And thanks for coming on, as always, bro. Always good to get you on when Leeds play Arsenal. But last night, let's talk about it. Come to judges first, then get your opinions on it, KG. I think personally, man, that game is probably one of the most nuts I've seen. Not just that game last night, the first leg as well, Lee. What an unbelievable... That could have been a final, couldn't it, really? Both those games could have been a final.
Unbelievable. And this is what I say about, when people go mad about the Champions League. No one is telling me that Real Madrid are the best team in Europe or and whatever. They're not. They've had a lot of luck to get there, but unbelievable yesterday. It was just a mad 5 minutes. I'm sitting there thinking, oh, well, it's Man City, Liverpool 5. And probably they're probably the best two teams in the competition. Let's see how it goes. I never, ever thought that Real Madrid would get past PSG, Chelsea, and then Man City. I honestly felt that Chelsea would have beaten them because, I think that, they're not. I don't think Real Madrid are in the same sort of league as Manchester City, Chelsea, if I'd be really honest about it. But they produced something yesterday of those 5 minutes, which is and do you know what? They could have actually won it if it weren't for a great save. You know what I mean? Like it would have been a mad 3 minutes. You know what I mean? Like it was
Unreal,
incredible.
man.
It was incredible. But I'll tell you what a penalty! What a penalty! Like, the pressure on that. You know what I mean? Like how good is Benzema, by the way? Like you know what I mean?
Unreal, man.
I've got to say, do you know what?
He's got better with age. He's like matured, isn't he? Like
he's like a fine wine, isn't he? Like he's like a fine. Yeah, he's got better. The older he's got, the better he's got. And I thought he ain't going to miss this. Do you know when you get that? I just knew he wasn't going to miss that penalty. Like, you know, but it's sensational.
Same.
You know, I hope the games are like that today. And I'll tell you what, those games as a neutral are fantastic. You know, do you imagine if that was one of you? I could not. You know what I mean? I don't know how. I know I'm laughing at Man City fans. You know, and they do deserve a bit of pain that because I don't like Man City fans, as you well know. Like, but. I wouldn't wish. I'd only wish that on Tottenham. Really, that's all I can say. Like, you know what I mean?
I must admit, I actually felt sorry for him for a slight second.
Nah, don't feel sorry for him. Don't feel sorry.
No, I did because I think they've all thought we're through. We've done this, and I'll bring KG in. I mean, I spoke to Big Steve today. You know, Big Steve from the Big Six. I spoke to him because he went out there, and I said, "Oh man, absolutely." Horrendous, man. I actually feel for you. It must have been a horrible trip and horrible for the old nerves. But KG, this is a situation where Pep cannot seem to win this competition. Like it seems like it's cursed. But the madness of it is, mate, they're out the Carabao Cup, they're out the FA Cup, they're out the Champions League now. If they drop points and Liverpool don't, they're a trophyless season. Can you imagine? Man City without a trophy this season, man. What did you make of it? And what did you make of Pep at City at the moment?
Yeah, for me, the first leg in particular was the game of the season for me, easily as well, not even close. What a game! I think it's because you're a neutral. I just appreciate the footballing, and you kind of look at the teams. You look at your own team. I'm sure you're the same, and you go, "Man, we are so far away from this kind of football," and it's like a dream just to be on the pitch with some of those players that they've got. The second leg, though, Pep. I'm a big fan of Pep. Like he's almost becoming like Jose levels for me of that manager that's just funny when they lose and you know they throw it back on the players, they throw it back at the press. He's becoming that guy for me. But I think he made a couple of mistakes yesterday just with the changes. I know De Bruyne isn't like fully healthy. I think they're having to like piece this guy together before every game. But 60 minutes was too early. I don't know if it's because he was blowing too hard, but you got to keep a guy like that on there. And he took off Jesus as well. For me, it was just a couple of iffy decisions in there. And yes, of course, they were like 2 minutes away from getting to the final. So this is what it comes down to. You know, Grealish had a lot of stick, but if someone just touched that ball he put across the line in, we wouldn't be talking about Grealish today. We'd be saying, hey, look, he's made a difference in the big game. But that's the fine margins. That's the fine margins.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Pep being cursed. Yaya Toure did say, he's already said, you gotta give back. You gotta say apologize, Pep. So maybe he needs to apologize to Yaya Toure and the rest of the Juju and all that, man.
I did see that, man. I did see that.
It's mad. Yeah, it's all mad. But yeah, I mean, listen, what a game! And Real Madrid, Liverpool. That's a great Champions League final because I know Leeds says about Real Madrid not being the best team is correct, but what they've got is X factor, especially in Vinicius Junior and Benzema. That's all you need sometimes. That's all you need in these kind of fixtures, like world-class talent. And you mentioned he's getting better with age, Benzema, a bit like Giroud as well. I don't know about you guys. I know you guys saw him up front and got frustrated with him, but Giroud, you know, it's kind of funny when you read Giroud's CV. He looks like he's the best striker ever.
Yeah. Unreal, isn't it? Unreal.
Yeah, and he's almost about to win the Serie A as well. So.
Yeah, they're top of the league in that, aren't they? Favourites to win that now.
Imagine Giroud leaving Arsenal, winning a World Cup, a Champions League, a Europa League, and a Serie A. That's unbelievable, isn't it? But listen, he's underrated. I always said it when Giroud left. I thought, we'll miss him. Too. He's different dimension centre forward that you might get frustrated with. And I understood that he had to go because of Aubameyang, the domino effect. Aubameyang come the other way. But actually, when you look at who you'd rather have, Lacazette or Giroud. Giroud for me all day long. All day long.
Especially when you've got scoring wingers. As long as you've got scoring wingers, he does that job for you. That's exactly how France won the World Cup. They had Griezmann and Mbappe. He was just there getting them involved. That's why he hardly had a shot on goal. So when people look at his stats in the World Cup and say he didn't score a goal until when, it's because he wasn't meant to do that. He was there for Griezmann and Mbappe. You know what I mean? He is super underrated, man.
That's why Deschamps picks him all the time, because he knows that he's got to pick him. So no, I'm with you. Unbelievable game, Lee. Just before we move on to Arsenal Leeds, I want to talk about Pep quickly, because surely he's safe. Like, there's no way they're getting rid of him. Like, you know, listen, he's a world class manager. But if Man City don't win the league title now, what a shocking season for Man City.
Well, yeah, unbelievable. And again, he's made a few mistakes. Look, I always think with Pep, I think he's a good manager. You know, don't get me wrong, he's that, but I don't think he's as good as what everybody makes him out to be. Like, you know, and I'll take this on board as you will. You know, he signs centre half Eke for 50 odd million. Instead of coaching him and saying, "Oh, like, I can get the best out of him," oh no, he goes and buys another centre half. You know what I mean? Like, he had 2 fullbacks. Oh no, they're not good enough. I'll go and spend £100 million on fullbacks. He's had the money to back up all the players that he's got. Now, if you've got the best players, you're halfway there, aren't you? Really, you know. But I look at someone like Jurgen Klopp, what he done last year. Whether you like Jurgen Klopp or not, you know, and I get people don't like Jurgen. I get that, but he had to manage that team with no centre halves last season and whatever he had to do, and he got them to fourth. And I thought, do you know what? That's an achievement that was for them last season. And look at them this season. They've gone on again, like, you know, when he's got his players back. I just think, again, you know, as KG said there, he made mistakes yesterday. It's not the first time he's made mistakes in a semi-final. You know, he done it against, was it Lyon in the quarterfinals when it was something a couple of years ago as well? Like, made a complete hash of it last season with the team selection. So I'm you know, I'm not saying that he's not a great coach. He is, you know what I mean? But he's a great coach because he's got a lot of backing and everything like that. And at the end of the day, should have seen that game out yesterday. But I don't think that they'll get rid of him. I think that what I don't understand about Pep, and this is beyond, if that was Arsene Wenger done that yesterday when he was in his pomp, they would have gone absolutely mad at him, dug him out. You know what I mean? Like, could have got pelters and all that. Like, now I don't care about what people say. The media have an influence. I think the media had an influence on Arsenal fans with Arsene Wenger. Like, you know, our top four ain't you know, and really made the top four really like derogatory towards Wenger. Like, you know, now all of a sudden Wenger's out of the picture. It's a fantastic thing and all that. And I think that, you know, that throws a little bit of fuel on the fire of a pressure of manager. And Pep ain't got no criticism at all about this yesterday. Just like gets given a free ride every single time. But ultimately, with the players that he's got, the money he's got, I know that he's won the Champions League with Barcelona. Let's get that right. He has done it. But when we're talking about Manchester City, he has fouled in the Champions League dramatically. You know what I mean? Now, Arsene Wenger gets a lot of stick for not winning the Champions League at Arsenal, but he hasn't had all what's the disposals of this manager, and also he's not had the disposal. When Arsenal were going in the Champions League at that time, there were some bloody good teams in it, and I mean really, really good teams. You know what I mean? Like, at the top of their game, Barcelona at the top of their game, Bayern Munich at the top of their game. You know what I mean? Real Madrid at the top of their game. Manchester United, blah, 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 etc., etc. You have a look at the Champions League over the last couple of years. It hasn't been that great. It hasn't been you know, like Barcelona, for instance, are not the same Barcelona. Bayern Munich are certainly not the same. They're all sort of rebuilding at the moment, and he still hasn't been able to win it. So I think that, you know, someone just putting in, he failed at Bayern Munich as well, winning leagues, you know, left, right, and centre, but because, you know, they've got the best players and the money. But when it comes to the Champions League, couldn't do it.
I think you raised some good points, Lee. I think what we shouldn't make out that we're doing, and I don't think you're doing this, is saying that he's no good because he is top class. He is top class. Where I agree with you, and I thought you was going to go on a bit of a rant about how you don't rate Pep to start with, and I can see Cage's face as well. But actually, I do. I've come to the stage where I agree with everything you've said in the end. Now, I think if you give Pep Guardiola the team, he'll win you stuff. But he will not take, no disrespect, KG, Leeds to a Premier League title. But actually, when you look at what Jurgen Klopp's done at Liverpool, The reason I've rated the job that Klopp's done more than what Pep's done is because he's recruited a team that was from in 8th place, taken them to a Champions League, something Pep's not been able to do, and a title, and an FA Cup, and a Carabao Cup. So actually he's won everything that Pep's won and more with Liverpool, and done it the hard way, because he's brought in recruited players. Now Pep Guardiola came in and did exactly what Klopp did. But in one season, he was given 4 fullbacks, as many midfielders as he wants, the centre forwards that he wants, and then he started winning. At Barcelona, that team was unreal. That wasn't him recruiting 5, 6, 7, 8 players. At Bayern Munich, that team was immense. So actually, when you look at what Pep Guardiola does, it's top drawer. But he has to be given everything for him to do it. Klopp has to be given it to him over a period of time, and it takes him time to recruit properly. Klopp wasn't given 4 fullbacks from unbelievable teams that were 50 million apiece. He bought Robertson from Hull. He bought in Fabinho. He's bought in Van Dijk, and he's bought in Salah, and he's bought in Alisson. That were quite a lot of money. But actually, when you look at some of the other players he's bought in, they were pennies. So I think what Jurgen Klopp's done is fantastic. And that leads me on to a quick super chat, because I do want to talk about Arsenal and Leeds, believe it or not. This one comes in from AFC Max. This says, can I raise a question to Lee and Dan? I'm in debate with certain Arsenal fans in a WhatsApp group over Liverpool and the quadruple. All I'm saying is that if Liverpool win the quadruple, I won't be too bothered because they aren't rivals. Am I wrong? KG, I want to bring this one in with yourself before I come to Lee on this one, because this is a debate I've been having for a while. If Liverpool win the treble, for me, I think they go down as the greatest. If Liverpool win the quadruple, facts, they are the greatest. Where do you stand on this Liverpool side? Because I said Liverpool would win the league right at the start of this season, and a lot of people said no chance. Chelsea will walk it. I didn't think Chelsea would walk it because I didn't believe Lukaku was good enough. I didn't believe Lukaku was enough either because I think they needed more than just that. The reason I didn't think Man City would do it 2 years in a row is because I didn't think they could go again without a striker. But actually they proved me wrong and suggested that they can. As for Liverpool, I looked to their strength in depth. I looked at the way they're playing and I thought, I don't really see anybody else coming close to them. Now, they've won the Carabao Cup, they're in the final of the FA Cup, final of the Champions League, and I can see personally Man City dropping points somewhere along the lines, maybe at Wolves away, maybe even at Villa on the last game of the season. But I look at Liverpool and just think they are the best team on the planet at the moment. And if they do that quadruple, boy, it's going to go down in history, bro. So what do you make of this?
Well, we'd never hear the end of it. That's for a start. We'd never hear the end of it if they do it. I mean, they're insufferable
Facts.
as it is. So you had a quadruple on that. Boy, oh boy. I don't think anybody wants it. That's not a Liverpool fan. I'll be honest. I don't think anyone wants to see this happen. In terms of Pep, I mean, just a quick point as well. Isn't it crazy that if Pep only wins the league, wins the league, that's a bad season? Wouldn't we all just love to have a bad season like that? That shows you the levels. Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. They only won the Premier League, like only. I would love to see that in my lifetime. You know what I mean? That is just crazy. But that's when the standards are so high. I mean, it's another stratosphere, isn't it? But as for Liverpool, you mentioned Klopp. I'm not a big fan of Klopp's personality himself because I think that he's a bit of a crybaby in all fairness. But as a coach, I think he's terrific. I can separate the two and say that he's an excellent coach. A bit like Pep, but like you say, Pep does, if something doesn't work, he will look for some money to throw it at another player and go again. Whereas Klopp, you've got to give him credit for what he's done, bringing him through some of that Liverpool youth as well, and also the talent scouting, what they've done. You know, even Luis Diaz to a certain extent, knowing that Jota could make the step up from Wolves because not everyone can do that, and he's done that as well. I think it's a really good point about Klopp in terms of his coaching, because even Pep himself said that. I mean, he was quoted as saying as well that he could never have done what Bielsa did with Leeds in the Championship. He could never do that, but Bielsa could have probably done what he did at Man City. So, I mean, I know that Pep sometimes tries to do the self-degrading thing, but I genuinely believe that as well, because I don't think there's many coaches that could have got this Leeds team up into the Prem. I really don't. So, yeah, in terms of coaches, it's an interesting debate. I do think Klopp needs to do just a little bit more on the trophy front, though, if you want to compare the two, because it just seems like Liverpool have been dominant for a few years, but in actual fact, they've got very little domestic success. I think it's just the Carabao Cup that they've won recently under Klopp. Don't quote me on
You're right,
that.
and now he signed that. No, you are right, and now he signed that long-term deal. Maybe we will start to see dominance from because it's basically for me,
Yeah,
KG. It's like it's going to be a Pep era or a Klopp era. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
at the moment, it's a Pep era. So Klopp wants to try and take that away. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
going
you
to be
got you
interesting.
got you got to add a few more trophies when you're going up against Pep because Pep can line them up. You know, he had
Yeah,
four
hundred
Carabao
percent.
Cups in a row, FA Cups in between, leagues. If they win the league this season, it's the third in a row, so that shouldn't go understated either.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. Just quickly, judges on yourself from that super chat. I feel like we need to answer it. Which I would personally hate Liverpool to do the quadruple. I guess you're the same, Lee.
Oh, of course, you don't want to see, it was bad enough Man United getting the treble, and it's, like you don't want no one to go invincible because you don't want no one to do what you've done, and they're going into uncharted territory now, to first and foremost, you have to whether you like Liverpool or not, and uh, as a football club and as an institution, I've got the utmost respect for Liverpool, but their fans are a little bit, as KG says, they're a little bit annoying, but they've got to three cup final. The three cup finals that you're meant to, you can only get into three cup finals, and they've got into all three. It's incredible to really do that, and they've done that.
What a team, man!
Us.
I have to say it. What a team.
Yeah, they've done that without their best two players in January against us. I know we had injuries as well, but you know they've been able to do that, maintain that. I just think it's an incredible thing. If they are to do it, I don't want them to do it, but if they do it, they will go, as far as I'm concerned, the best team in my lifetime, because I think that Manchester United are, I'm going to be really honest with you at Manchester United, that they was a penalty away from not getting that treble. They was, we could have actually have ended up winning the double that year, if it weren't for bloody Leeds United that season. So that was a real thing for them. But there's been no luck about what Liverpool have done. They've deserved to win the League Cup. I don't know how Manchester City are going to react to this after this. This is a great thing for Liverpool now. Liverpool are in a position now where they go first. They go into bat first on Saturday against Tottenham. If they can get a result against Spurs, after what's happened at Man City, to play Newcastle next is not a give me. I don't know how this is going to affect Manchester City. So, the thing is, that what you need to do now is they're vulnerable. Is beat Tottenham, and anything can happen now. I really do think that if Manchester City do slip up, they've got to. Chelsea's a difficult one because you just don't know what sort of Chelsea team's going to say. I think that they're favourites they've got to be favourites for the FA Cup, and they've got to be favourites for the Champions League as well. So listen, it is an amazing feat what they're doing, and they've got a squad and all that. But as you said, it ain't been with Liverpool. It's not been bought. I'm sorry, what I mean. If you look at their side, they've had to sell to get players in. Yes, they've spent money, but they've had to sell players, had to make sacrifices. Somebody just said in the chat earlier on, I think Pep spent a lot of money on Brava. The next season got, outed him and got in somebody else. Eke, put £50 million on him. Oh, that ain't working. I'll go and spend another £50 million. I don't think Liverpool are in a position like us that can go and do that. You know what I mean? And so you have to admire what Liverpool are doing. And, I don't want it to happen, if I'll be honest. Do I think it could happen? I don't think this is the closest I've ever seen it happening, if I'll be honest. I can't see anybody else getting close to this.
And just quickly as well on Liverpool, the recruitment this season has been terrific in terms of
Unreal.
Canate, Luis Diaz. These are players now that they can keep for the next at least 5 years. You're talking at least 5 years with those guys. And also the incoming Carvalho from Fulham, who's going to absolutely he's going to be...
He looks unreal.
Incredible under Klopp. He's going to be amazing under Klopp. So they've got the recruitment right. Leeds talking about buying twice, buy once, buy twice. Liverpool are not having to do that due to their good recruitment. So you have to give them credit on that front.
I think you're bang on, KG. I think they're the best well-run club in the in the Europe. I really do. I think their player sales, their player recruitment, top to bottom, the backing of the manager, the way the manager and the players and the telepathy between the fans. I just think everything is on point at Liverpool, unfortunately, and it's a team that you have to look at and respect. And I've got to say, if you said to me what season ticket you want this season. You can't have an Arsenal ticket. You've already got one. I'd go and watch them every week. I think they look absolutely fantastic to watch. And I personally enjoy their football and their games more than I do Man City. And I think their first 11 is the best in the world. I really do. I think they've got about 5 or 6 of them players that would walk into any single team. And I think you're right about the recruitment. And what I like about it, KG, is the fact that if you've got, people talk about the players, Diaz, you mentioned, Konaté. Actually, you look at Jota, at how important he was of a signing, how important Jota is that he's come in. Bobby Firmino, they've still got Oxlade-Chamberlain, doesn't get a kick. They've got Harvey Elliott and Tyler Morton coming through. They've got that Cade Gordon coming through. They've got some real good young players coming through as well. So they're looking like a very, very well-run side and a well-run club. They really are.
And also, Dan, you look at, do you think Liverpool could spend £100 million on a player and not play him? You know what I mean? People go on about how great Pep is. What's gone on there with Jack Grealish? What the hell has gone on with him? Jack Grealish, to me, was the best player in the Premier League last season. I was spellbound with what he was doing at Villa, but he hardly plays now. And when he does play, he doesn't look the same player. £100 million they spent on him. Why? If you're not going to, to use him as such, you know what? I do think that this is why I don't like Man City. They spent £100 million on him because they didn't want anybody else getting him, and that's what they do. They think, all right, I don't want Liverpool or Arsenal to get him because it might get him closer. So we'll buy him. We get him. It stops everybody else from going because they've got the power to do that. You know what I mean? Because you're telling me they've got players like Foden. They've got Mahrez, Jesus that all play out wide. They go and spend £100 million on him. I don't think they really wanted him, if I'll be honest. But it's like,
I think they wanted Harry Kane, didn't they? And realised, we might as well get Grealish because we can't get Harry Kane. We might as well spend the money. We got it. Let's just get him. And it ain't worked. And it ain't the right club for him. I don't think he needed to be playing. He needs to be a focal point of a team. And I think personally, I'm not saying it because I'm a gooner. I think he would have been a brilliant signing for us. I really do, and I stand by that. I know he's been poor at Man City, but I don't think it's worked for him for those reasons. I don't think he's got to run the game. He's a big fish, small pond situation, isn't it? Villa and City completely different for him. So it hasn't worked for him at all. But no, great points. Let's get into it. Let's talk about Arsenal Leeds because we're nearly half hour in. Let's start with Leeds. KG, last time we spoke, man, it was Leeds and Leeds are falling apart. Bielsa, no players, struggling for goals, conceding goals. He couldn't get things right. And as an Arsenal fan and as a neutral, I didn't really like how it ended because I think he was a legend for what he'd done for you. You mentioned it earlier, him getting you into the Premier League was unbelievable. But Jesse March has come in, and if I'm honest with you, I have seen a little bit of improvement on the pitch. I've seen a little bit of improvement results-wise. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on Leeds' season, really, and the change of managers and how it's left you feeling, mate.
The season as a whole has been a disaster from the start. It really has, and to go on about how much of a disaster it's been, it would take a long show. So, but in terms of Bielsa, the way it ended wasn't great. If they were going to sack him, they should have sacked him before the January window, and that's my belief because it wasn't getting any better at that point either. Instead, they waited until after the window closed. They had already spoken to Jesse Marsh apparently 8 days before they sacked him as well. So the wheels were already in motion. They already knew what was coming. February, for people that don't know, was an absolute disaster. I mean, we've had a disastrous season, but you talk about the shortest month in the year, and we've set the Premier League record in a calendar month for the most goals conceded, and it's in February. So that shows you just how bad that period was. And at the point of when we lost 4-0 to Spurs, I honestly thought we were going down then. If we carried on the way we'd carried on, I thought we was going to go down just from that. So we needed a change. And of course, when you're going to change something, it's going to be the manager. But it was a difficult one because I don't know how it was for you guys with Arsene Wenger, and this is completely different, but just go with me on this. He made the club beat again. Like, he made people believe in Leeds United again, the football and things around the city. For 3 years, all the fans were all on one page. It was very unlike any other time. Now we're back to just being fractured again, and people are saying this. If Bielsa was here, we do this. It's all a mess. But he left a good legacy. But ultimately, he took a part in why we've been doing so badly this season. It's the board and him. Both of them are accountable for listen, 34 points in 34 games tells its story.
Yeah, I must admit, when I went to Leeds away, I could hear all the fans still singing his name, and I thought, wow, we're not really like that at Arsenal. We're kind of always fighting with each other, whether someone thinks Kroenke's good or not, or Arteta's good or not. We're never really on the same page, and I was amazed with how together Leeds were. We'd won 5-1, and it was or 4-1, I can't remember now, and it was like, wow, these Leeds fans are singing his name still, unbelievable. So,
But on that though, Dan, I mean, it's not on the fans, obviously, because we can't play on the pitch, but that's a problem
yeah,
for
of
me.
course,
Because that's more like we're happy to be here. There's no expectation. Whereas
good point.
I'm not saying boo the players because we was down to the bare bones for that game. That game
Showing
really
a lack
shouldn't
of
have gone
ambition
ahead.
type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's very small minded, and it's something that Leeds fans we always love calling other clubs tin pot for things they do, but when we do it, it's okay. I think that's probably the same for a lot of football fans,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I agree with that, mate.
Yeah, I mean 4-1 losses, but it wasn't just that one. It's been other ones where we've been absolutely hammered, and yet there's been no. It wasn't until the Spurs game before Bielsa got sacked where there was actual groans in the home crowd and booing. That's how long it took for people to actually realize, holy crap! If we continue like this, we're going to leave this league. It took them that long, and it shouldn't have taken that long. So again, that's just another part of it. But we was commended for playing that game because we should have really had it called off due to COVID and all that. But listen,
Yeah, remember you had
should have
like
had it.
nobody.
We should have called it off. But
Against us, man. I remember seeing kids. I'm thinking he looks about 12 warming up. Like he had
yeah.
nobody, man. It was unbelievable. But Lee, your thoughts before I come back to KG on Jesse March. Your thoughts on Leeds, because I was a little bit sad really seeing Bielsa go, and their season has been up and down. And I don't think there was really anything else Leeds could do. They just didn't look like winning. They were conceding 4 or 5, 6 goals. It looked like his time was up, didn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like as a neutral looking in, he you've got to change things around, and he wasn't prepared to do that, which was a shame. I'm a football fan, and the Premier League. I want all the big teams in it, and Leeds are a big team, and always have been through my lifetime and everything like that, and always enjoyed Leeds as a big club to go to, but it's just they've had terrible injuries. But when you have terrible injuries like that, you have to think of sometimes forget your principles. I know it's great having them, but you have to forget them a little bit and go a little down a different route. You've got your best main players out, change the system, make yourself hard to beat until you can get them back in. I think that was a wrong decision. And also, as KG said, you've got an opportunity to not play a few games. It's very, very gallant of them to do that. And it wasn't just against Arsenal. They'd done it about 2 or 3 times. The end of the season, and they go down. No one's going to think about that and go, "Oh, do you know what? That was gallant of what Leeds done." Sometimes you have to put the football club and its well-being before things like that, and that's where Leeds have, I think, failed. Now, going back to that Tottenham game, I couldn't believe how poor they were that day. I really thought they're in a battle. They were in a battle for a relegation thing there, but if they got those 3 points, it could have been they just rolled over and died. And then there was a little kick when Jesse came in, and they looked and he thought that they was going to be safe. The fact of the matter is they've carried on that same path, and teams like Burnley in particular, I think realistically. Will this be really honest? 3-4 weeks ago, forget about the results. I think Leeds fans and myself is one of these going, do you know what? Watford, Norwich are going to go. I think that even though if we carry on the route we're going to go, Burnley are going to go as well. We'll be all right. Burnley have surprised everybody, and that has put, I think, tremendous pressure on Leeds now and Everton. And I do feel that if Burnley win on Saturday, I think they're at home to Villa, is it? You know what I mean? I'm not sure. But if they were to win that game, then I'm afraid one of the big boys is going, Everton or Leeds.
Yeah,
and Lee, and sorry, just Dan, just on Lee's point, it was a great point, and it was a point that I realised probably midway through the transfer window in January, where I'm just asking Bielsa, please just change the system, do something different, please. But you're talking about a man that stuck to the same principles for over 20, 30 years. There was no way he was going to change. No. So he died on that sword, unfortunately.
I get that, but like in his 20, 30 years, I don't know, KG, has he had so many injuries? You know what I mean? Like it's going on the
Oh
principle.
Lee, I completely agree. And this is what we were saying. We was getting the man-to-man marking system wasn't working anymore. It was the second year teams had worked it out. And not only that, you can do man-to-man marking. I've said it so many times. You can do that system, but you need to have better players in the system.
Yeah. And if you've not got your players there, you ain't going to be as good as what you are. Oh yeah, it's as simple as that. Your backup players are back. I keep saying it's about Arsenal. Well, the backup players are backup players for a reason. They're not as good as the ones that you've got there. So I just feel that and somebody as good as him, I just think you've got to be reactionary at times. You know what I mean? And I couldn't quite understand why it hasn't. And if Leeds do go down, listen, he'll be part of the problem, but he was also the reason that you got up in the first place, you know what I mean? So it's a real difficult one. But I think the injuries for, even now you've got Dallas, who's been an influential player for you over the last couple of years. Been very impressive. Terrible injury now, you know what I mean? It's going to be out for a year. And you think you really need them sort of players you need now to just get you out of this hole, I think the Tottenham game was the defining moment, but I do think that the defining game, you've got home games to get Chelsea at home. You just don't know what you're going to get with Chelsea. Now, I believe that if you're going to play Chelsea, it's not a bad time to play them just before the cup final. So I think that there's a lifeline there. Maybe you've got to go to Arsenal and get something which is going to be tough, which gives us a problem. And I think that's where it really is. I didn't think Everton would beat Chelsea. Everton's last two home games, they've beaten Manchester United and Chelsea. It's and they're still in danger of going down. And if you this is why I don't understand. You can't predict football at the moment, there's no rhyme and reason. That's why I'm like, if Chelsea can, if Everton can go and beat Man United and they can go and beat Chelsea, Leeds can go and beat Arsenal and Burnley can go and beat Spurs in a week's time. Do you know what I mean? You just don't know. You just got to turn up and perform. And I do fear for Leeds. I'm going to be honest. If I was a betting man, I would probably say Leeds because of the tough away games that they got.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's a madness. I can't believe that we've got we've got 2 games left, 3 games left. We've got 4 games left. We don't know what's going to happen with the title race. We don't know what's going to happen in the top 4. We don't know what's going to happen in the top 6. And we don't know what's going to happen in relegation. Now, they're the only 4 things to play for. So if you're 8th to 17th place, you're basically on the beach and everyone else is fighting for their lives. It's madness. It really is. But KG, I just want to, before we go into the Arsenal-Leeds game, I just want to get your thoughts on Jesse Marsch going into the last few games because I don't know much about the guy. He came in and I thought, it was going to be a kind of... it was going to be hit or miss for me. I didn't know what we were going to get. How's he been for you? And are you quite confident that he's the guy to keep you in this division?
Well, he's our only hope, so I better be confident. But in terms of what he gives us, he's a completely different coach from Bielsa. Bielsa was a coach for the players in terms of making them better. Jesse is clearly a motivator. So he's a motivational guy. He's always shouting from the sidelines, giving them messages here and there. The thing is, it's gone well. The problem is Burnley's run. That's made it look like it hasn't been enough. If Burnley had been as bad as they have been all season long, we'd be fine. We'd be more than okay as we speak today. But the fact is, the run has coincided with Burnley just pulling off a ream of wins, and now they find themselves above us. It's just been the thing was 12 games to go when he came in. It was a disastrous time to come in regardless. None of these are his players. And I always feared as well when Bielsa left, what are these players going to look like without Bielsa coaching them? Because the running's already gone, the pressing's already gone. That press that you saw last season hasn't been there this season. So you already taken away one of the main strengths that we had. And it's very, very plain to see when some of these guys try and pass it to each other, they ain't got no technical ability, apart from the select few, of course, Rafinha, Rodrigo when he wants to, Harrison. But overall, it's a 17th place team. That's why we are where we are. But in terms of Jesse Marsch, I like what he's about. The thing is now, and I've said it on my channel many times, he's just another manager now. So whereas before you'd always say give Bielsa the benefit of the doubt, like no, but Bielsa will get it right this time. If it doesn't go right, it's just get him out. If it's not working, we'll part ways, and that's how it is now. But he's done a good job so far. But the proof will be at the end of the season. But even if he does be the one that sends us down, it's not on him. This isn't on him. This is work that's happened before.
More to it than that. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I really do. Lee, let's come to the Gooners. Come to Arsenal. I'm not gonna lie, man. I just want this season over now. It's just gonna be such a nervy ending. It's gonna be like going to the dentist. You just want it done. We've got a North London derby. We've got 3 other games that are going to be real nervy times. And a lot of the time, you go into this game, Leeds at home, and think, well, I can see some goals. But I want to know your thoughts going into this one, because you've just mentioned about trying to predict games being impossible. So what's your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, listen, what Arsenal got to do is turn up. I see the Jekyll and Hyde last week again. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's the pressure of nerves of whatever, but I didn't like the performance against Leeds. Against West Ham in that first half. I felt that we looked under pressure. We didn't play well. We looked like nervous. We looked like had the weight on our shoulders. It eased a bit in the second half. I think perhaps a good team talk from Mikel Arteta, I think maybe helped there or something like that. But, what you want there is us to go into these next couple of games with a freedom of our game where, a bit like, collar up, Eric Cantona style, let's go in and get it done. And it's not been quite like that. I'm going to say it now. Saturday's game between Liverpool and Tottenham will, I think, define what we do the next day. Now, for instance, if Spurs were to go and win that, I think that, we'd be a bit edgy because, they'd have put the pressure on us. If Liverpool were going to win, I think that would give us a little bit more relaxation, but you still got to go and win that game. Listen, it's all about winning games of football at the moment, and we've done that in the last 3. And I thought we played very, 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 very well against Chelsea. I thought we was fortunate against Manchester United, and I thought we was fortunate against West Ham. You cannot keep being fortunate. You've got to produce performances as well. I know, we all turn around and say, it's all about the result and all that, but I'd rather us play well and get the result than scrapping around there, And I think that Leeds are going to come there. I think Leeds are going to be difficult to beat. I think that they're not as open. What I've seen of Leeds in the last couple of games, nowhere near as open as they were. So we're going to have to try and break them down. And they've got players that can hurt you. There's no two ways about it. But Dan, they are fall from bottom for a reason. There's something not quite right at Leeds, and I think maybe it's because of personnel and all that. So it's an opportunity when you're at home. Unbelievably, we've got 2 of the teams, Everton and Leeds. I think destiny could be one of the. We could actually send one of them down. If I'll be honest, I think that depending on other results, of course. But I just want to see Arsenal. I know this is the wrong thing to say, because I just want Arsenal to win. I just don't care how they win, but they do. But I do care that we play well enough so you can think, right, we're going into that game against Spurs with a little bit of confidence. But I'd rather go into that game against Spurs not playing well with 5 points instead of playing well and only 2 or 3. You know what I mean? So yeah. I think that how I feel is that if Liverpool have beaten Tottenham on Saturday, I'll be buzzing down to the game. You know what I mean? But if it doesn't go that way, I'll be very, very nervous. And I think that my nerves and everybody else's nerves can go onto the pitch a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So I think it does really matter on that Saturday night game.
Yeah, and I'm going to be sitting there watching it with my old man thinking, oh, what's happening here? Trying to enjoy it. But listen, in Anfield, Liverpool, they don't normally lose. So please don't let us down, Liverpool. Please don't let us down. KG, let's come to you on Arsenal. I want to know your thoughts on our season and Mikel Arteta and how confident you are going into this game at the Emirates, mate.
Confident would be a very strong word, but what I'm hoping is that the players realise the situation we're in and they play with all heart, because that's what they got to do. The quality isn't there. So they're going to have to use hard work and all that usual stuff that you should get. But when you lack quality, you've got to use extra. You've got to give it 110 instead of 100%. So that's where I am with how we go into this game. There is ways to get around Arsenal or get through, which I hope Jesse Marsh will try and get through to the players. It's not like we were playing Man City last week and you're thinking, good God, just keep the score down. But but that's where I'm hoping. I'm hoping that these guys realize just how big this is for them. That a lot of these guys will never see the Prem again if we go down. They've got to realize that, and this is their best chance of staying in there. In terms of you guys, well, it's been up and down, hasn't it? But you've had some really good runs. You've had some really good runs of form. I think the recruitment's been good, but I think you need to sprinkle a superstar or two in there. Whether Arteta can manage a superstar, though, is another issue, though, because he doesn't like people that have got a little bit of a personality. He doesn't like big fish. He likes to control his pups. That may hurt you, though, if you do manage to get into the top four, and all of a sudden you need an actual killer up front. Because like you, recruitment has been a shambles all season long for us. But then January, when you let go of Aubameyang and don't get another striker and rely on Lacazette and Eddie, I know he would prefer that, but you can't go into next season with that strike force if either one of them stay, which I don't think you should be keeping either one of them. You're Arsenal. You've got to be aiming better than that. But Arteta,
facts.
I think he's good. He's improved, but in all fairness, he improved off 2 8th place finishes. So the bar was kind of low where you were. But to get you back in the Champions League would be brilliant for you. But you have to get better players in terms of just that bit of stardust to go with some of these youngsters, because you can see a few of them are not burning out, but it happens. I mean, I remember our 99-2000 squad, it was full of youngsters, and they burnt out towards the end. Sometimes you just need those bit of star elder statesmen just to get them through or help them through. But will he? I don't see him ever winning you the title, and I think that's an issue that you got to think about before offering him a new contract. You know, if you want to be ruthless, get your top 4 and then go get a big hitter manager. But I know you guys don't want to do stuff like that. So yeah, no. I think it's been good. I think it's a great race though between you and Spurs. I will say that. I will say it's a brilliant race for the top 4. It's like one of you wants it 1 week, the other one doesn't want it, and it's a good back and forth.
Yeah, no, a lot of people have said as a neutral they're enjoying watching it, but trust me, we're not. We just want to get that top 4, man, and then let the season finish. Listen, you make some good points in terms of lack of ambition. A lot of the Arsenal fan base would think it would be extremely harsh to get us back into a Champions League and then be sacked. But essentially, we knocked the stadium down to win a title, not to get into the top 4. So I totally see where you're coming from there, KG. I really do. And I've been guilty of people saying that I've been harsh and unrealistic about our ambitions, because I'm somebody who wants to win, and I don't think top 4 is let's get the champagne out and celebrate and go nuts because it's job done. There's 3 teams ahead of us that we need to be looking at next season. So already our target should be let's get as close as we can to City and Liverpool next season. That should be our target. And the only way we're going to do that is to recruit properly. Now, I'm with you. I think top 4 would be a great achievement, and I do believe that it's a progress season. And I think that recruitment has to be spot on. And I do believe it has improved, if I'm honest with you. We can't keep Laka and Eddie. We've got to replace both of them. So 100% we do need to look at that recruitment in the summer. Let's come Leeds to team news. And I'm going to come back to KG team news for Leeds. What would you go with, Lee? Tell me your 1 to 11.
That's a difficult one with it. Well, obviously Ramsdale in goal, Tommy Hessel at right back. Ben White fit comes back in, and Gabriel. I'd stick with Tavares on the left hand side because I think we've got to attack. I've said it before. I wouldn't be surprised if Mikel goes to Tottenham game with a back 3, but I think that this game will be that. I think in midfield the 2 El Neni and Partey, Odegaard. I think that the decision really is on that left hand side. I think that whoever plays out of Smith Rowe and Martinelli, the other one will play in the North London derby. So I think Smith Rowe may come into this game because I think we may need just that little bit more trickery. I was disappointed in Martinelli against West Ham, if I'll be honest. I didn't think he had a great game. So I just don't think that Smith Rowe is 100% fit, and I think we're just like trying to get him through these last few games. So I think that they may just swap over in the next game. So that's what I would go with.
I think I'm with you. I'm going to be incredibly harsh in the North London derby. I know we're not doing a North London derby preview, but there's no place for Eddie for me in the North London derby. I'll be playing the four of them. Odegaard, Martinelli, Smith Rowe and Saka will be my front four. I just think we need somebody who's more clinical in there, and I'm not sure Eddie's the guy. I know he played well against West Ham, he ran around, held the ball up, but he's missing chances still. I need to see somebody clinical in there, and I have more confidence in front of goal with Martinelli than I do with Eddie. So that's what I would do. Against Leeds, I think he probably deserves to keep his place, and if he has a great game against Leeds, then you have to look at that decision nearer the time. But I don't expect to see a massive change, if I'm honest. I do think Smith Rowe will come in, though, Lee. Tomiyasu, hopefully he's fit. Not sure. He come off against West Ham with a calf or whatever it was. So Cedric might have to play there. And Ben White, not heard anything. I heard it was a tight hamstring. So let's hope he's fit. If not, hopefully he can keep fit for the North London derby. And Rob Holding, who by the way was man of the match and played very well against West Ham, will probably keep his place against Leeds. KG, let's come to you, man. You've had some injury problems throughout the year, man. Calvin Phillips has come back now. And I have to say, before I come to you on your team news, I actually really enjoyed some of your performance against Man City. I know the scoreline suggests you got battered, but I thought you really gave a good shot and account of yourselves in certain parts of that game. So do you expect to see a similar side? Obviously, Dallas come off injured, but what's your team news, mate?
Yeah, Dallas is done for a very long time. But yeah, you're right. If the 4-0 in the end, I know it's always you get what you deserve or the score is a score. But yeah, it wasn't a typical 4-0 battering. We were really good in the game, had good passages of play. And that's something that Jesse's done. He adjusted. He was going to put in. So the system, I think, will be 3 centre-backs against you guys with 2 wing-backs, 2 holding midfielders, 2 wingers and a striker. That's how he was going to set up against Man City. I don't see him deviating from that against Arsenal. And that gives us more of a chance. It makes us a bit more compact and able to go on the break, which we can do with either Dan James if he starts or Jack Harrison, and obviously Rafinha on the right-hand side, who has to attack Tavares. That's going to be something that he's looking to do. But we need to play Gelhardt up front. If Bamford isn't fit, because there's whispers that Bamford may be back for this game, if he's not fit, then Joe Gelhardt has to start, because that's been another problem throughout our season. Haven't played a striker up front. It's been very, very frustrating. Very frustrating to see Dan James being played up front when he's never been a striker in his life. Like, it's just been very, very... But listen, Joe Gelhardt is a huge talent, and he's
a warrior, isn't he? He's a warrior,
He's got the cojones. Yeah, exactly. He's got the cojones. He's a battler. He'll come on and in charity minutes and then make an impact for us. He should be getting starts in this Leeds team. There shouldn't even be a question about it.
Do you know who he reminds me of, though, KG? And I don't think he's going to be half as good as this player before everyone starts shooting me down. Do you remember when Rooney came on the scene at Everton and he had that great battling kind of warrior performance? That's what I see when he comes on. He's just no fear, doesn't care. He's like stocky. He's not like tall, lanky. He's just a little terrier, man. And I don't think he's got half the quality of Wayne Rooney, don't get me wrong. But when he come on at Everton, I thought, who's this kid? I did exactly the same when he come on for Leeds for the first time, and he looked just like a little bit special, something about him.
Yeah, he's got the X factor, and the ball will stick to him as well, which is something that is a big quality in the Premier League when you want your players just to hang on to the ball, but he drives forward with it too. So instead of going backwards like a lot of our players have been doing, and obviously that's a low confidence kind of thing, he'll take the ball forward. He needs to get in the box a bit more. That would help, because he's always looking to drop deep like he's Harry Kane and try and create a play. We're not that good. So he needs to stay in the box a bit more and finish off the chances. But if I trust him, though, if he's got a chance in the box, I trust him to finish it. And I can't say the same for a lot of our players in the team.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Before we come to score predictions between the pair of you, I always ask this when we do these preview shows. Judges, let's start with you this time. You can sign a Leeds player. Who are you going to sign?
Phillips.
See, do you know what? I thought I was going to go with him, but
I would go with Patrick Bamford if he was fit. I like him.
See, I'm going to go Rafinha. Because I look at him and I think,
yeah, it's a good shout.
You you look a bit all right. Like he is, and we need a winger. Like I know people say we got Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Ødegaard, but we need someone like that. Pepe's going to be off. We need someone with a little bit of an X factor, a little bit of spark. This kid looks like he could be anything he wants to be, man. He looks really talented, and I like Calvin Phillips. I do like Calvin Phillips in that kind of anchor role. Partey's playing that role at the moment, and I think we do need somebody in there. But I'm not so sure he's a Granit Xhaka replacement, Phillips. I think that he's more of a hot anchor in midfield, what Partey's doing. So I'm going to go Rafinha, just on that KG, how good is Rafinha, man? He looks class.
Yeah, he's been easily, for me, the best player that we've had since Harry Kewell, and it's not even close. Yeah, we haven't had a player like him that can just do anything and everything with the ball. Not only does he do it, but he's got end product to go with it. So when you see St. Maximin do all these little dances over the ball and then nothing comes of it, Rafinha's got end product. And he's even got, in this team that we've got this season, he's got 10 goals. And it doesn't sound a lot, but trust me, when you've seen this team play this season, it's a hell of a lot. And I know that in his next move, he's going to be a superstar. He's already a superstar to me, but I know that when he goes to his next club, he's going to go to a next level because he excels around better players, as most people do. But when you see him playing for Brazil and he's just sourcing with those guys, man, he's just on another level for me. And I'll never begrudge him his move away. If there was one chance of us keeping him, and that would be to stay up, obviously, but it would have been for us to have a better January window. I thought if they could convince him with the project that we're bringing in better players on his level or near his level, he'd stay. But we've done absolutely nothing to keep this guy. And he doesn't deserve to be in a 17th place Premier League team. He's Champions League ready. That's why, Barcelona are sniffing very hard. And it's not unlikely that he'll go there with Deco being his agent too. So it's good. I'm going to miss him when he goes. I'm already resigned to losing him, in all fairness. One of those when you know they're going to go.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt when you see the shirt lifted up, the new shirt being held up. But yeah, he's just terrific. He's got all the tools to be one of the best in the world, easily.
Yeah, very honest assessment, unfair assessment for me. Go on in, KG. You can pick one Arsenal player. Who are you going to sign, man?
Hey, don't do I have to get limited to one? Oh man. Oh, okay then. Yep, I will take for the outgoing Rafinha. I'll take Saka.
I thought you might say that. Yeah, man. Just on that, KG, like Saka, Smith Rowe, and Martinelli, like, why would you go Saka over the other? Do you think Saka's going to be the best one out of the three of them?
Yeah. Saka's definitely going to be. Well, I can't say definite because we don't know. But for me, I see him, and I know a lot of you guys won't like it, but I see Man City looking at him when Mahrez possibly slows down a bit, and they're looking to replace somebody on that right wing. I could easily see him going to Man City. He reminds me of that. I think he's that good, or could be that good with an even better coach. In terms of Smith Rowe, got to get over his little injury niggles that he gets so often. Whether it's growing pains or not, I don't know. But I saw Smith Rowe in the Championship, and I knew he was going to go on to bigger and better things then. Martinelli, though, I'll be honest though, I know he scorned us at Ellen Road, so I know that. I think he's the one that's the most out of the three. I need to see a bit more from him on a more consistent basis when he's given opportunities. I don't know how many goals he scored this season, but I think with a player of his talent, I think he could possibly be on a few more goals than he is. So for me, yes, Saka is just because Saka's not only a goal scorer, he's a playmaker too. That can't be understated in his role in your team.
Yeah, man, I think it's fair. To be honest, Saka is looking very good as well at the moment. We've got three talented boys there for sure. Let's come to some score predictions before we come to a close. KJ, let's start with you. What do you reckon the score is going to be, mate?
Well, I've got to go with my heart. Well, no, I'll go with my heart saying 1-1, and that's because these guys are going to play with their heart. But if I've got my football head on, it's going to be 2-1 to Arsenal.
Fair play, judges.
Yeah, I'm going 2-1. 2-1. I think it'll be pardon the punt, a cagey affair. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be tight. I don't see any games easy now for Arsenal. I really don't. I think they're all going to be like this, one goal in it and whatever. And I think that this will be a nervy game. I'm going to be honest, and I think we just get through it 2-1.
I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal. I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal. And I feel like something we couldn't do not long ago was score goals. But we've scored 9 in the last 3 games. And we seem to have got our scoring boots back on with goals by committee now, which is what we needed. And I do think it's going to be a tough game. And sometimes the scoreline, like I said to you earlier, KG, it suggests that you got battered by Man City. Sometimes it's not always the scoreline suggests that. And I think it'll be similar to this. I think you'll put up a fight because you need the points just as we do. So it's not like you're on the beach like, some of that sometimes. But we've seen teams that we've played already, Palace, Brighton, Southampton, all those teams were preparing for next season, just getting through this, and we lost to every single one of them. So sometimes when we need to win and we go against a team that also need to win, we put up a fight and it kind of gets there. So I'm going to go 3-1 to the Arsenal and hope and pray. Just before we do wrap up.
Before we go as well, it's funny, just looking at the chat, you guys are worried about Tavares. We've also got a left-back problem in Junior Firpo, so it's going to be a very interesting battle to see which left back comes out absolutely the worst on Sunday. So look forward to it.
Yeah, he's a player that I think everybody was rating, and then he's kind of got some weaknesses as well, so to speak, hasn't he, KG Firpo? So yeah, we'll see which one performs on the day, man. We will. Before we go, I can't let you go without getting a prediction of your season. Do you think you're going to be all right, KG? Do you fancy yourself to stay up, mate?
As we speak today, I'll say yes, because I know what people are saying about Everton's fixtures and everything else like that. But again, we're all down there for a reason. So we're talking about stringing together some results that they haven't been able to do all season. I'm hoping the FA throw the book at Richarlison for throwing the flair back into the crowd. FA, don't let me down. But yeah, I think we'll be okay as we speak today. That I can only go by that.
Judges.
It's okay, Lee.
Yeah, I'm going to say I do fear for Leeds. I really do. I think that they need to. What is there? They've got still got 4 games left, haven't they? They've got So you got Arsenal, then you got Chelsea,
and then Brighton, and then Brentford.
Right. See, Brighton and Brentford. You know what I mean? I think they're going to look. I think that they're going to have to. If Leeds are going to survive, they're either going to have to get some points against Arsenal or Chelsea.
Yeah, and it's funny because Chelsea's the one I'm looking at, just with the turmoil after pitch, the FA Cup final. But it's just like us that they come to our ground and win 3-0. And if that happens, look, if we get relegated, we deserve it. It's as simple as that. And I've said that all along. You don't end up in the bottom 3 just from 1 or 2 games, 38 game season. So.
I think Chelsea are beatable though. I do think because of that FA Cup. I remember we played them. Do you remember a couple of years? Was it last season, Dan, just before the FA Cup?
Yeah.
He made a few changes. There's no if Chelsea beat Wolves on Saturday, I think they play Saturday. I think 3rd place is virtually assured. I know that we can get level with them if we were to win those games, but I think that just those 3 points are enough to get them into the top 3, top 4. I don't think they're going to be worried about that. If they were to lose against Wolves, there's pressure on them. Then I have to say, but sometimes that can be it. But that can help Leeds as well, that they've got pressure on them. But I just think that if you're going to play, sometimes it's a good time to play. So it was a good time for Arsenal to play West Ham. I'll be honest, it was a good time for us to play. It is a good time to play Chelsea, and if they can get a win there, one against Brighton. That's at home as well. Is that at home, is it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So those 2 home games, get the 6 points, that I think would be enough.
I think Everton are going down. I do. I think Everton are going down. I think that we might even send them down at the last game of the season. Hopefully, as long as we beat them. I don't know why. I just don't think Chelsea at the moment are looking scary. And as for Brighton and Brentford, 2 teams that I just said, on the beach, looking at next season, Leeds fight, I think will get them through. So I don't think that just because Arsenal beat you, which I hope we do, that it's all doom and gloom. I think that you will still stay, man, and I think Everton will go. I just don't see them as good enough at all, if I'm honest with you. And I don't see Frank Lampard as good enough to keep them up. So I'm going to say, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying it. I never thought I'd be saying this, but I think Everton are going to go. I really do.
Everton, like looking at their fixtures just now, they've got an interesting run. They've got Leicester away. Then on Wednesday night, same time that Leeds play, they've got Watford away. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, then they play Brentford at home and then finish off at Arsenal. So if they were to win 2 games as well, that might not be enough. Tight. You know, it just seems like Leeds have got to win. I think Leeds have got to win 2. And I think really it's
horrible, isn't it?
Yes, it's worse being involved in this situation. Trust me, it's absolutely awful.
I can't imagine. If I'm honest, I can't imagine, bro. I'm not gonna lie. It must be horrendous, man. Listen, KG, you're always a legend, man. Thanks so much for coming on, bro. And I appreciate it. Where can people follow you, man?
Yeah, I'm at KG Vision. That's my YouTube channel. Or if you just type in KG Leeds, you can find my channel that way as well. Did a preview with Curtis on my channel earlier today, and yeah, I'll be live after the game, come rain or shine, after Sunday's match against you guys.
Good man. Top man, KG. Thanks very much, man. And get yourself over to KG Vision and subscribe and like to all of his stuff. Great content, great Leeds fan. Very honest opinions, and we always like to hear and see that. So thanks for coming on, my man. Judges will be back, hopefully when Arsenal have secured 3 points, mate. And look forward to this weekend, which, let's be honest, Judges, is probably going to be one of the most important in this season because of what's happening at Anfield, man. So give me a quick... Are you confident Liverpool can get the job done, Judges?
I've got my mate Ashley's lent me his Liverpool shirt. Yeah, I'm confident. Like, you know what I mean? So, I'm not going to wear it. I'm just going to put it next to me, like, you know what I mean, like, and you know, listen, Liverpool. You know, people amaze me at times when I go, they hate Liverpool and whatever. They thanks to Liverpool, they made my. I live in this country, and I'm still whatever because. You know, they beat them when it really mattered in that Champions League final. So I just do it again for us, like, you know what I mean. So, and that's why I've got a little, I don't say I dislike Liverpool. I've got a lot of admiration for them, like, you know. So I shall be singing "You'll Never Walk Alone" if they will.
Unbelievable. Thank you as always, Judges. Top lad. Thanks everyone in the chat. If you can smash a like and subscribe on this channel, would absolutely love you for it, and so will Judges. And we'll see you next time. Hopefully at that point we'll have 3 points and we can chat more about the Arsenal. Until then, take care and up the Arsenal.